All right, everybody, welcome to Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about DayZ, Battlefield, and everything PC gaming related. I am one of your hosts, Jeremiah. My screen name is Germ Gaming, and I am joined by, just introduce yourselves, I don't care in what order.
I am Dave. You guys know me as the not-so-evil Viking 13.
I'm Joel.
Chris.
Oh, we can find it.
Sure, go.
I'll be
Both
last.
of you go.
No, I'm last. Go ahead.
I'm Chris, also known as Chris in DayZ.
Best for last. I'm Joel. I blow things up. Oh, you can also call me Wilson.
You blow my things up.
You might recognize all of those names from the DayZ Survivor Diaries, and even if you don't, well, if you don't, that means you haven't watched them because we're in all of them, so you should definitely go watch them. But in this podcast, we have quite a few things to talk about. So the first thing we're going to talk about is DayZ. The standalone alpha has not come out yet, as we were recording this at the end of November, but it should be coming out very soon, sometime towards the end of the year. So
my body
Dave,
is ready.
Yes, Dave just found a big, long update about the DayZ standalone today. So Dave, take it away.
Joel gets to hear all of this again. So the biggest news is that DayZ will be the first game that uses a new system on Steam, where the alpha will actually be available to purchase on Steam, and the developer is going to be able to patch the alpha directly right there in Steam. So all the updates get pushed through Steam, and it's just going to be crazy, awesome, convenient compared to the nightmare that it was like back in June. Which also means that it's going to use VAC anti-cheat, which is pretty exciting.
Now, does that mean it's going to, like, we've DayZ Commander, we use and we love it, and if any of you play DayZ and you're not using DayZ Commander, you definitely should go look it up and use it. Do you think they'll build any functionality like that into the browser in Steam, or did it go into any detail on that?
From what I've heard, it's going to use the Steam browser system. I guess what you'd see for maybe Left 4 Dead or something. It's going to have a server browser for sure. I'm just not sure what features we're going to see at this point.
Okay, because the Steam server browser, you can do favorites and everything like that, so that shouldn't be any problem. Like, it functionally. Yeah. Okay, so what else is new in the standalone?
Is there any news about switching servers quickly, or to be able to just hop servers? I can't remember if there's any news about that.
I think that was one of the things they were addressing.
Yeah. I would imagine that if the server browser is in-game, it's going to be a lot faster to change servers. Well, I mean, I guess Arma technically has an in-game server browser, but DayZ Commander just had so many more options. I preferred to exit out and change servers rather than try to change my filters in-game.
Right, but are they going to add something? I think I've read this before, but aren't they going to add something where you can switch servers quickly, but you can't log out of your server quickly?
Yeah, there's been talk about a logout timer, and there's been different bits of code that have shown up in different versions where they've kind of experimented with it. The most recent version of that being in the most current version of the mod, there's a combat timer where if a gunshot goes off within a certain radius of you, you're in combat mode for 30 seconds, and if you log out, right now it just logs it on the server logs, and the admins can punish you later. They're looking at kind of all the information coming out of that system, reviewing it all, and eventually there's going to be a system where if you're not in combat mode and you log out, there's a timer that counts down, so log out in the forest where it's safe. If you're in combat mode and you try to log out, either they won't let you, or there'll be a punishment system or something like that to prevent server hopping and ghosting.
It'd be kind of cool if you try to log out in combat, they just make your character start emitting a beeping noise that's positional.
I think the question on our minds is, can you log out if you're taking a crap in the game?
That is a
okay. Well, now that that's been brought up, I guess we're going to talk about it. We made it. How far did we make it? We made it 3 minutes in.
I just want to know if you could finish up beforehand, or you have to wait.
All right. So
does that count as combat mode? I wonder.
So Joel, you're doing combat with a dysentery zombie. Joel, would you like to fill us in on that?
Well. Okay, Dave. Well, I'm only hearing this from Dave, so Dave might be twisting my leg. But he was saying that supposedly you actually be able to use the bathroom in there. So I just want to know: is it only number 1 or 2? So, I mean, seriously,
Rocket actually has not answered that, but I would not be surprised if it's both, because he has talked about there's going to be even the initial release, multiple diseases you can catch, and it's going to have to do with human waste and population centers. They have this crazy detailed system because apparently Rocket's brother is a virologist. They're actually
of course.
mapping these diseases out.
Well, that's
Dude, the hospitals are just going to be full of crap. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's on the walls.
people are going to booby trap the entrances to their camps. They're going to lay a perimeter.
Yeah, screw
How did it
bear
get on the
traps.
ceiling?
It's just going to be like, oh gosh, I can't walk through it. The poo
You can only
is
enter
everywhere.
by chopper. You can only enter the poo mountain with a chopper.
I think one of the bigger questions is, I mean, if it's the Arma UI, is it going to be scroll to take down pants, scroll to boot, scroll to wipe, scroll to put pants back up?
That brings
I hope
to some
so
more
much.
good news.
Oh, I hope it happens. That would be amazing. I can't fire. I can't think. I gotta use the bathroom.
All right.
Can you
well,
drag your
I'm gonna
pistol
just-
and pull your pants up with with both hands, like one hand on your pants, one on your pistol, maybe?
It's all wavering around. Like I can't shoot. It's blurry.
It's like you're suppressed.
Oh,
Okay,
that's so
so
funny.
other than pooping and Steam, what else is going to be coming out in the standalone that we're excited about?
Okay, actually, I'm glad that Chris brought up the inventory stuff, because Rocket has talked about that just yesterday, actually, and awesome news on that front. He's not releasing any screenshots yet because of certain developers that are copying everything he posts, but he has talked about the new inventory system. He says that it's not even using the Arma 3 inventory. DayZ already has a completely new inventory system that he said is inspired by Minecraft, where it's all about just complete fast accessibility and just functionality, just super fast.
Cool.
And
Okay, yeah, because that's the inventory in DayZ, or well, I guess in Arma now, leaves a lot to be desired for DayZ.
yeah, it's kind of like when you were playing Arma, you use your gear menu at the beginning of the mission to pick your loadout, and that's the only time you ever saw it. But in DayZ, it's like half the game is in your inventory.
Yeah,
As arcadey as it is, I wouldn't mind if there was like a faster option to switch between rifles, like two primaries, because there's quite a few times like where you've got a suppressed M4 or something, and you really want to whip out the sniper rifle, if for no other reason than just because it has a scope and you want to check someone out.
Right.
But it's like, lay down. Okay, which order do I do it in? Please don't glitch my gun away. Okay, I've got the gun in my backpack now. It takes like 20 seconds minimum to switch guns.
it would be pretty awesome if you could assign certain weapons to 1, 2, and 3 slots or something like that, so you could press
Yes.
1 or 2 and switch between pistol and rifle. And
That would
something,
be nice, but-
something I would love to see, I don't know if they'll add it in, but I would love to see some animation icons, like if you're going to be healing, just like in Left 4 Dead 2 when you put on the bandage, I'd love to see a little bar or something to tell you how close you are to finishing it, so if you are interrupted. I always hated that because it's like, am I done yet? Can I keep moving? Because if you move too early, you ruin healing yourself or adding the bandage. That would be awesome.
got me
I
killed
doubt it would be
before.
in the first
And then
one.
you lose
but-
the bandage or the blood or whatever you're using too.
Yeah. And I think even if, like what you were saying about the hotkeys for the weapons, even if you didn't switch that quickly, even if it still took like 10 seconds to switch, just so you don't have to hit all the buttons, just so you can just hit the key and the character will go through all the motions, because I don't, it's annoying every single time you want to do such a repetitive little motion that you have to go through the menu and hit all that stuff. It'd be nice if you could just hit a hotkey and he goes through everything, even if it takes a little while.
Yeah, I don't mind the time. I think the issue is just the complexity of switching weapons, like having to drop it on the ground if your backpack's not big enough to hold 2 at a time, and then the chance of it eating it or not being able to find it again.
Yeah.
Now, what is everyone's thoughts on changes to the map? Because we're all pretty familiar with Cherno now, or Shinaris.
Actually, if I could just segue real quick, Jeremiah, because Chris was talking about the animations there, and I have more
Sure,
news
go
about
ahead.
that too. This post is a freaking gold mine. They have actually had an animator go through already, and they have trimmed basically every animation that they've used from Arma. Rocket described it as the grenade throw that makes you want to punch your screen when you try to do it. They've gone through and basically made everything feel more responsive like an FPS. There's still an animation, but your character doesn't stop and stand still and do this whole dramatic thing like a simulator anymore. It's more responsive.
Awesome. That
That
actually is
already there.
I guess we'll wait till we talk about the War Z, but that was one thing I did like about the way the War Z looked, at least. But we're not talking about that yet. So yeah, map changes. What is everyone's thoughts on? I haven't read too much about map changes, but I heard something about underground bunkers or something. Was that just me?
Oh, it's coming. As part of the base building features, Rocket wants the ability for people to create entire underground bases. He looked at doing it above ground, but the engine doesn't really support that kind of thing. So you kind of like go to a doorway for an underground bunker, and then inside you'd be able to build it and customize it, and you'd have to defend it too.
So the bunker would be like an instance?
Yeah, the same way Skyrim would do it, where you'd enter the door and it would enter into a new loaded area.
Exactly.
Well, that's pretty cool. I guess I'm all right with that. Like, I think it would be cool if you could set up an above ground base of some kind. But I mean, who knows? He says the engine can't really do it, but who knows what they'll have come up with, a year from now.
Yeah, we may see some small scale stuff where you don't just have your bunker entrance. Maybe you have like a few guard towers and some small buildings and stuff like that.
And some
Do they plan on
latrines.
getting rid of like sandbags and wire and things? Because I mean,
They had
those
a
are
poll
already
about
existing
that.
elements.
I think the update said all barbed wire. That's about it.
I would be okay with that. I hate barbed wire. It doesn't serve any useful purpose.
But I
There
think
was a lot of
really,
talk
I
about
think
removing it, but they're not going to at this point.
they didn't. The article said something about that. Supposedly they're just expanding more of the buildings so you can go in them. I hope that happens. I hope there's more buildings and more little villages even along the way, because there's so many villages after you play it for like 30 hours, you just know don't even dare go near that
Oh,
town
yeah.
because it has nothing worthwhile.
Yep.
Hopefully the loot will be completely random and buildings will have just kind of random stuff and you can go into anything. So any kind of shack or any house you see, there's going to be stuff there, whether or not it looted there or not. But just because I hate passing by a city because you just know there's nothing there already.
And that could promote like desperation, say if diseases are more of a thing. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't think temperature has never really hurt me at all in the mod so far.
It has hurt me, actually.
It has hurt you? Okay.
Yeah, it was actually really annoying. There was one time I was out at the Northeast Airfield and got sick. I was laying waiting for one of you guys, I believe, and ended up logging out and logging back in, and I didn't have any heat packs on me. It was the first and only time that it's affected me, but it ended up getting me sick and draining my health steadily. Buggy as it is, I ended up switching servers, and for some reason the sickness didn't carry over, but it was about to kill me.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking if that's like a real thing you have to worry about, like on a consistent basis, if it's cold and starts raining and stuff, you might be tempted then to find some little village and go into a house, especially if there was like a greater chance of there being food in it or something. If you knew in this town there would be a lot of houses you can go into, you'd be more tempted to go into them, but so will everybody else.
Make them a lot more valuable than just simple
exactly.
loot spawns.
Just like in the Elder Scrolls games, I don't know how many other people did this, but I didn't buy a house usually. I would just kill somebody in a town and then just set up shop in their house.
No, none of us did that. You're weird. What's wrong with you?
Yes, I did
You're
play
sick.
the Dark Brotherhood quests. Why do you ask?
Funny story about integral structures real quick. I was driving the other day, just down the freeway. And
Are you talking about real life or in a game?
In real life, but it has a direct DayZ tie-in. So you can probably guess where this is going, but I saw this red roof barn, and like immediately in my head, I'm like, ooh, integral structure, I need to check it out. And then I'm like, oh, wait, okay.
Yeah,
That was
we
my
actually-
problem when I... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we actually have heard some good news about the buildings already. Rocket has said that that's one of the first things they actually got an art team working on, and we're going to see something like 80% of the buildings in towns will actually be enterable now, the ones that are already there. And on top of that, we're going to see a ton of new areas. We've only seen one screenshot so far, but it looks like Stalker, like a whole new like industrial military compound. It looks amazing.
Now, why 80%? Like at that point, why not just do all of them? I'm curious. I don't know. Like I assume there's a reason.
I think there's just a few difficulties with getting some of the models to have an interior that matches up with the exterior, because some of those buildings were modeled with no intention to ever add an interior, so it's really hard to get the rooms to look right on the inside and match up with the exterior.
Right.
That's
there
just
may
what
just
I
be
heard.
some. It's just not usable space inside, so there's no point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. What else? What else? Other breaking news came out in that blog post today.
Oh,
He's
there's
going to be
all kinds of
including
fun stuff.
Snuggies as lootable items.
I would totally wear that.
I mean,
Don't even judge me.
Just a whole group
Exactly.
of people in blue Snuggies running around shooting people with shotguns.
Snuggy Death Squad.
The Snuggie Bandits.
I didn't choose the thug life.
It just wrapped itself around me.
It wrapped itself around me in a warm fleece cocoon and said, "You're home now."
There was a little bit of talk about, this is kind of part of the new inventory system, but clothing is going to be no longer just like a single, ghillie suit or camouflage clothing. They're going to be slots, and confirmed slots that I've heard them talking about include headwear, glasses, jackets, trousers, and footwear.
Will we be able to enchant any of these items?
After you've sucked out the soul
With
of the
radiation,
victim.
maybe.
Just figured I should ask.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one of these bullet points. Let me just dig for a little bit here.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, maybe I can get +2 zombie resistance or something if I get a baseball hat that I wipe across that zombie's face.
Be more like
Or
+2 dysentery.
Speaking of which, I think excited as I am about DayZ Standalone and having all the new animations, the new inventory, I think what I'm most excited about now may be the ability to possibly catch a bandit with their pants literally down. I just feel like that's going to be the whole triumph of the game right there.
Oh, great. Does it say anything there about vehicles? I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with vehicles, because I have a couple bones to pick with the vehicles in DayZ.
Are you talking about like
As it is
handling
now.
and stuff like that?
A bunch of things. The stuff I don't like so far
crap.
is...
They need to make the hands move on the steering wheel. That's like the most important thing. They just look like ghosts.
I wouldn't say it's the
Joel has
most
his
important
No, it
thing.
is. You're sitting as a passenger and you look over at the driver and they're just like, whatever,
Oh,
I'll
it's so
just
creepy.
drive wherever I want.
I would like the handling to be a little better, because right now it feels like I can be flying along a road at like 50 miles an hour in a VS3 and just pull a turn, and it's just like, yep, that's no problem. Who cares if we're raining and we're making a downhill decreasing radius turn? We can hang.
Let's not forget the
Like, if you-
spontaneous explosion ability that Joel has discovered and has quite possibly perfected, I think.
Yeah, and for like, I don't like all the inconsistency when you take vehicles off road. It feels like a standard racing game. If you're driving like on a track and then you drive off road, your car instantly slows down to like 10% of its original speed. That's like a very common trope of racing games or more hardcore racing sims. And it seems like they just carried the whole thing over into DayZ. Like, what was that? What's the name of that truck we were driving the other night? The military
Off-road.
transport? Military off-road. Okay, it goes what, like 80 kilometers an hour? 100 kilometers
on
an hour?
paved roads.
On paved roads, and then as soon as you go
105.
off-road, it's like 35, no faster.
In the military
Like-
off-road, too.
Yeah, the model practically says Land Rover on the front of it.
It's in the name.
So, I don't know. I would like them to make some changes to that.
Yeah, that's something they haven't really talked about as far as like handling goes. All he said about vehicles, and this is kind of exciting too, is that there's going to be a ridiculous amount of variety in standalone. I don't have the blog post up, but from what I remember, he talked about everything from police cars to fire trucks to civilian cars, trucks, just all kinds of different stuff.
Sweet. All right, before we move on from DayZ, because we do have a bunch of other stuff to talk about, does anyone have any last thing they want to throw in?
I just had an epiphany. Dave, when you were
boy.
just saying Land Rover, I actually just got the reference Land Rover. I never thought of that before. Oh,
Okay.
Well, we're learning things here tonight.
I
feel like
know.
we're accomplishing
Words,
things.
they elude me.
You guys are getting your money's worth.
Land Rover.
Okay, so
So
with the release of DayZ, we found out that there's another game coming out that's been in development for just years and years and years, that just happens to be virtually identical to DayZ in quite a few ways, and that's the War Z. And I have not played it at all, but Joel is enough of a sucker to pay for the alpha. Or, I'm sorry, he's enough of an enthusiast.
I'm an
to wanna get
adventurist.
in-
I
You're
explore.
an adventurist, okay. So Dave and Joel have both played it. So guys, tell us about the War Z.
The War Z killed my family.
Okay,
And now I
Joel,
vowed revenge.
try again. Try again.
Save this, Joel.
I mean, I don't know that much behind all their development stuff, how much is true, what not. I almost don't even give a crap. But
We'll just talk about the game.
Yeah,
like,
the
just
game-
the game itself.
you spawn in and you run so slow. And that is the first frustrating thing about it. It just feels like it takes forever to get anywhere. In DayZ, it takes forever to get anywhere, but you feel like you're running fast. So you're running fast to take a long time to get somewhere. But in War Z, it's just, it's so slow. And the animations are just non-existent. Like when you get on the ground to crawl, you do this like slow, like snail, like crouch thing.
No,
and-
you're swimming on the land. It's
Yeah,
totally
you're swimming.
a swim.
Yeah, it's just bad. Like they could do so much with that if they just corrected just a few small things. But I don't know. It's
What
very
engine is
arcadey.
it
It's
on?
very arcadey, and I think if you want to just jump in and be able to, well, I guess you really can't get anywhere fast. But if you spawn right by a house, it can be fun if you find a gun. But it just feels so wonky. It really does. So unless they update it a lot, it's oh man. The
I kind of went into it with the hope it was going to be like an MMO version of Left 4 Dead, like if it would feel that good. But the ballistics feel terrible, the walk speed is slow, the sound is laughable. It's like, how could they get so much wrong? I know it's alpha, but
yeah, it's hard to tell where a shot comes
for
from.
2 years, not even close.
It's so hard to tell where a shot comes from. You have no idea. It almost feels like it's kind of playing in mono, because when you hear a gun, it plays in both speakers. Whether or not you're on the left or the right side, it seems to play that way. So it's very hard to tell if someone's really close or very far away.
See, that's something that doesn't really come across in the videos, because I haven't played it, but I've watched your videos, Dave, and it actually, like, the gunplay looked to be a lot more fluid than DayZ, but I didn't notice the sound being terrible, or, like, what feels bad about the guns? Because they look fluid, so why?
I mean, the guns don't feel, guns don't feel horrible, they're just, I mean, they're meant to be just really easy. They're not really hard to use at all. Like, you just aim down the sight and you're going to shoot exactly where you're shooting. So it's not meant to be realistic.
Like laser guns almost. It's just like, if you can see it, you can shoot it. There's almost no recoil. There's no ballistic drop. There's no.
It's hit scan.
Yeah, it's 100% hit scan in like the most easy form. I was sniping with pistols because they were the easiest weapons to control.
Huh. Sounds like the original Halo all over again.
But Halo
was amazing.
I mean, what?
No, it's fun to be able to shoot a zombie because they do have the ragdoll effect, so that just feels awesome. And so when DayZ do that, DayZ adds that, it's gonna just feel great. Like, I mean, it's still funny because like when you hit a zombie with anything, it's funny. If you hit a zombie before their animation of the sound goes, it'll be like it'll just kind of cut halfway and just start the next sound effect, and it's just like it's just poor sound effects.
I'm pretty sure they recorded the zombie sounds under their desk, like on their lunch break. They're more annoyed than zombies. They're just like, stop, come on.
For more opinions on the War Z, actually, well, you've kind of heard both Joel and Dave's opinions, but for more opinions, go to Dave's channel. Again, like you don't know what his name is already, because that's probably how you found this podcast. Evil Viking 13, he's got 3 videos up about the War Z, so that's really the only information I've gotten about the War Z, except everyone on the internet hating on it.
Yeah, I would say
it will be 4 videos soon too.
4 videos, okay.
Yeah, and then at the end of that one, Joel and I get so bored that we kill each other.
I'd say within a month or two. I mean, if you want to be able to get into faster action, because if they don't update the running, which they have to, there's no way they cannot see that. But if that happens, you're going to be able to jump into action a lot faster than DayZ, because you could play for 4 hours in DayZ, not see anyone, and then die. And then you're like, I hate this game. But then you'll randomly, like, because DayZ's so freaking hard, if you do have a good experience, it feels amazing. It feels like you worked your butt off.
The payoff
in a digital environment to collect bandages and choppers.
Okay, well, definitely go watch the videos, and you can hear more about how Dave doesn't like most of it. Although, I did enjoy watching them, because you do have some cool just experiences with people. Those experiences would have been just as cool if you were playing DayZ, or maybe cooler, but like I don't think it was because of the amazing stuff they've set up in the game, in the War Z, but I don't know. I think the videos are enjoyable. People should definitely go watch them.
And, just to conclude it, I think that there's definitely room for multiple games in this genre. I think the ex-Stalker devs are working on a game called Survivium that's going to be very similar. It's like a Stalker-style MMO with zombies, although it has more supernatural stuff too. But I was really hoping that the War Z would be like a Left 4 Dead version of DayZ, like a more casual, easily accessible. But they just got so much wrong. Like, it's just too much to overlook at this point. Far too much to overlook.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll be talking about this more as the game crumbles.
Wait, I have more rage! More rage!
I'm sorry, we gotta move on. Okay, so, Battlefield. We all love Battlefield and play Battlefield, and...
Well, some of us play
Aftermath. Some of us play Battlefield.
I do, it's just, so much to play, so little time.
Uh-huh. Yes,
so much life. Farmville to farm.
Oh,
the hard life of a bachelor. So Aftermath comes out this coming Tuesday when we're recording this, so it may be out by the time you listen to this. Who knows when that will be. But Aftermath is coming out, and I've seen a couple trailers, but that's really it. I have tried not to watch any gameplay videos on YouTube of people who are playing the PS3 version, because apparently PS3 is the best platform to play it on, so they get it early. I'd have never understood why that happened, but...
Because money!
I mean, I understand why it happened, I just don't understand. But what do you guys think of Aftermath so far from like looking at trailers and stuff?
I have not
Crossbow.
seen anything except for a trailer. So crossbow.
Beautiful crossbow. Crossbow.
I think every game this year has some sort of crossbow or
Yes.
bow in it.
Yes.
Year of the Hunger Games.
Although from what I read, just some comments of people on Reddit, it seems like the crossbow maybe isn't that amazing. It seems like the explosive bolt is fairly useless, and a lot of the bolts don't travel very far. That's just people complaining, so it may not be that bad. But
From what I've seen,
Early
I feel it's
reports-
going to be like. Sorry.
oh, go ahead.
From what I've seen, people comparing it to other weapons in the game, I feel like it's going to be kind of like just a unique weapon, like the 870 with slugs. Like you don't roll with that constantly, but it's something different to play with. You know?
Right. Well, actually, it kind of reminds me of in Black Ops, the first Black Ops, there was the ballistic knife. I don't know if anyone played Black Ops.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, the ballistic knife, which like up close is amazing because it feels like you just run around the corner and then shoot a blade out of a pen into somebody and kill them. But from distances away, like farther than 20 feet away, it started arcing pretty bad. So if you did kill someone from 40 feet away, you felt amazing just because you pretty much had to
Nice.
nail a headshot. So if it's like that, if it's just...
Does the arrow arc actually in Battlefield 3? I haven't seen it really.
Yes, it arcs a
'Cause I've
little
just
bit
kinda
and
seen
then it
headshots,
drops a
but-
lot.
So I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of cool videos of people like arcing that sucker over a really far distance.
Ah, yes.
Hopefully.
If only it
I'm-
stuck people into walls.
Like in Half-Life.
Yes, like Half-Life.
That was the best part of Half-Life was the rebar.
Yeah, that'll
Clear
like
dice.
Dead
Something like
Space.
that. Okay, so we really don't know anything about Aftermath, but like the maps look pretty cool so far. It looks like definitely a big change up from Battlefield so far. I don't know about you guys, but watching the trailers, I just realized that I haven't played like Sign Crossing or Sen Crossing. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And a couple of those other original vanilla maps in a really long time because all the new maps have been so much better.
Yeah, I played some with Yakko on like rush mode and stuff, and it's fun for a change of pace. But I've been really impressed with the consistent quality of the DLC. I'm definitely getting my full money's worth. It's been awesome.
I would feel more like I was getting my full money's worth, except they keep putting it on better and better sales that makes me feel like I'm not like. Grand total, I guess I've spent $110 on Battlefield 3 now, and I'd say I definitely have gotten 100.
Was that how much it
bucks out
is?
of it? Well,
Did I
that
pay
plus
that
premium.
much?
I bought it for 60 when it first came
Oh,
out.
you're right,
and then,
60
or
and
pre-ordered
then-
it for 60, and then got premium. And
Oh, I forgot.
now you can buy it for what, $30 for the whole thing?
Totally worth it for me.
I mean, it's worth it. I'm just saying, like,
Well, you can pay
they-
$30 for everything now.
Yeah, they did discount it pretty quick, pretty fast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of discounts, segue. The THQ Humble Bundle just came out today. Today being the day we recorded this.
Giggity.
I know. So actually, Chris, when I first met you, you would not shut up about Company of Heroes, and I think you got me to play like an hour, and that was it. But I noticed it in this bundle, so I am definitely going to play it this time. But why are you excited? Why are you excited about this Humble Bundle? Why are you happy about it?
Well, for all of us out there who like RTS games and grew up with them,
Yeah.
they're- after Age of Empires and Stronghold
Woot.
and things,
Rude.
They raised me as a young child.
they certainly did, and they were fantastic. However, what bothered me about all of those is always the issue of like micromanagement versus the scale of the battle, and always that I ended up being focused on the scale of the battle. And one of the things that Company of Heroes did so well was, not focusing you on micromanaging. The units were smart and intelligent, but at the same time, the scale of the game led itself to tactics and not simply victory by numbers. And I think that was its number one strength among pretty much all of the RTS games. So that alone made this bundle a purchase.
Now, it's the THQ bundle, which I think is this the first time that we've had one publisher has been the like the sole thing to benefit. Well, or their Child's Play is still benefiting from it, but I think this is the first time we've had one publisher has had every game in the bundle. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
I
Dave
think
knows.
it's safe to assume that's because THQ is broke, and this is just the Humble Bundle, which I mean is great. Like of course we wouldn't want THQ to
Wait,
completely go out of business.
If
and
they're
all those,
if they're completely broke, who the crap is making Metro Last Light?
well, that's the thing.
They're
Last I
doing
heard,
God's
that's kind of they're in limbo, aren't they?
Oh, that's so sad.
No.
But
Metro
what I thought was kinda
2033
weird-
was so freaking awesome.
like all the games in the bundle. In case you haven't seen the bundle, you should definitely go check it out because it's got Saints Row the Third, Darksiders, Company of Heroes, and all of its DLC, and it also has Metro 2033. Was there anything else? I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
But I mean to say that's it. You know,
But-
for
yeah,
like
it was amazing.
$1 you can get. All
I
of those
only
games.
paid $1, but that's only because I only had like $2 in PayPal.
Now, isn't Homefront? Isn't that a THQ game?
I think it was just published by THQ. I'm not entirely sure.
I wish that was in there. Because I loved Homefront.
I hated Homefront.
I really enjoyed the campaign. It reminded me of what is it? Red Storm Rising?
I just
Mixed
couldn't
with,
get over the
like-
mechanics.
Oh yeah.
I thought the mechanics were, I mean, a ripoff of Call of Duty, but I thought they were okay. Like the grenade throwing looked terrible, but I thought it all worked. I thought it was an original concept, or the concept isn't original.
Red Dawn.
Yeah.
In
I
a
started
game-
playing that after playing Crisis 2, and just the comparison of just the gameplay alone is like, I'm sorry, it's not enough. Like, the story isn't worth it to me to... Yeah.
They should make
Might just be me.
They should make a Red Dawn game. That would be awesome.
Yes. All my money right now.
Well,
Right
you
now.
could put all your
Have
money
the
towards
have the
Star
team that
Citizen.
made Metro 2033 make Red Dawn.
I'd be okay with that.
I don't know if
2033
this
was
matters
awesome.
because it's kind of sales stuff, but people probably use Dropbox. Do you know if most people can do that, or is that only students? Is that like completely nationwide today?
I think it was anyone with a college email address. It's been going on for about a week. In case
Oh,
you don't know
really?
what we're talking about. Yeah, if you go to Dropbox.com or some link, I don't know, Google it. You can submit your school email address. It does not have to be the same email address you have linked to your Dropbox account. You just have to be logged into your Dropbox account on the web browser you use, and you can get a bunch of free space depending on how many people from your school have already signed up for it. So I got 8 gigs more for 2 years, which is amazing. I don't even have...
Oh, it's only for 2
I don't
years? Ah.
I mean, I already had like 8 gigs and I wasn't using it for anything now, so... I don't know.
2 years
I mean,
is a long
it's-
time. Okay.
Yeah, it's for 2 years.
Maybe in
Like,
2
you know,
years
the
they'll
other
change
gigs
their
like
mind
that.
and just let us keep it.
Oh, I'm
Please.
sure.
Totally.
Oh yeah, so if you haven't checked out the Humble Bundle, definitely go check it out, because if you've never played any of those games, or even if you own most of them, it's still, you can pay whatever you want for like Saints Row the Third and Darksiders and like really awesome games. So you should definitely go check it out. Now we're going to try a new section of the podcast. Well, it's all new because it's the first episode, but it remains to be seen if this section's coming back. It depends on how much Joel talks about pooping. But this is going to be 60 seconds with Joel talking about something. Or slightly longer than 60 seconds if he needs it.
But where did
We'll
the
call this-
lighter fluid come from?
A minute with Joel.
No, I just need 60 seconds, people. I love Half-Life, and I cannot wait for Half-Life 3, even though there's been so many rumors, and that's all it's been. The latest rumor is that somehow Half-Life 3 might have some sort of, like, open-world RPG elements in it, and that just freaks me out. But I do trust in Gabe N. So I think whatever they're going to do is going to be amazing. And my heart is so happy because E3 is coming around the corner for 2013. That's when probably the new consoles will probably start showing up. And my guess is they're going to want to wait to reveal Half-Life 3 so that I can go on PC and all the consoles all at the same time. That'd be my guess. One can only hope. So that was Half-Life 3. I love you.
All right, that's been 60 seconds with Joel.
I can hear the hope in his voice.
It might
Just-
just,
just
end up
one
being
quick-
Joel talks about Half-Life 3 for 60 seconds every week.
That's true.
I'd be okay with that.
But, you know, it's worth mentioning just on the tail end of it, that Valve has confirmed they're working on the next Source engine, and since Half-Life 2 debuted the Source engine, it may not be crazy to think that Half-Life 3 or Episode 3 could be debuting on the Source engine 2 whenever that's ready to go.
Yeah, what was the quote from Gabe recently? It was like, we're just looking for a good game to launch Source Engine 2 with. Hint, hint. Well, we all took it as a hint. I don't know.
Left 4 Dead 3!
Yeah.
Left 4
Trolling
Dead
us.
3!
It's a new hat update for Team Fortress 2.
Oh.
Ricochet 2. Ricochet 2. That was a sweet game, actually. Did you ever play Ricochet?
Cricket.
I did
You've
not.
never played that game?
I've never heard of Ricochet.
Dude, look it up. It's a Half-Life mod. Valve actually made it. It's like playing Tron. That's kind of what it was like. You throw these discs
Okay.
around and behead people. It was pretty awesome.
Okay, well, I'll look it up. Okay, so we were shooting for a runtime of about 30 minutes, and we're close to that. So, if you guys liked the podcast, if you had questions, if you want to tell us how much you hate us and want us to crawl into a hole and kill ourselves, because let's face it, it's the internet, and some of you will have that opinion no matter what.
I had
You
that
can write
opinion.
into the show at casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Casual Shenanigans, all one word. If you don't know how to spell Casual Shenanigans, I hope you have a pen ready. It's spelled CASUALSHENANIGANS @gmail.com. So write in or send us an MP3 if you have a question or a comment or something really hateful. We probably won't play the hateful stuff, but it's nice to know you care enough to send it. But let us know what you think of this, because we would love to make this a regular thing if you guys enjoy it. So does anyone have any parting shots or words of wisdom or last thoughts on pooping before we go?
Oh, I do actually. I would actually
Okay.
like to segue into our closing here each week with a segment I'd like to call my YouTube comment of the week.
Okay.
And what I'd like to do is pick my favorite YouTube comment and run it through a voice synthesizer. And we'll just go ahead and play that at the end of each episode. I'll just kind of introduce the comment, what video it's on, like what the comment's going to be about, and then we'll just kind of run it through the synthesizer and just see what you guys think of our comment of the week. What do you guys think?
That sounds awesome. Do you have one ready?
Oh yes, this very angry person recently discovered my Battlefield 3 hunting for dice in EA dog tags from last November video. And honestly, I can kind of understand his rage, because the comments he's replying to are these people that they watch the video, and at this point I've answered the most common questions with annotations on top of the video, because putting it in the description wasn't enough. So the questions they're asking about the dog tags are actually annotated on top of the video, and they're continue to ask them. And this poor guy, I guess, just finally snapped seeing this and took it upon himself to reply to a few of them with some very colorful wording. And I think I'd just like to share that. I think Microsoft Sam's just going to go ahead and introduce that for us. So here we have KLLYJRD, Kelly Jared Jr., I don't know, replying to comments on Battlefield 3 hunting for dice in EA dog tags with great success video.
Motherfucking you have to unlock them.
All right, everyone. That was Dave's comment of the week. Tune in next week for more hateful things people say on the internet. Unless people say something nice, in which case we will definitely highlight it.
Possibly several times.
Possibly several times. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. This has been the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast. Does anyone have anything final they want to say right before we end?
Joel, any more thoughts on DayZ defecation or anything like that before we sign it off?
All right, well that's it, everybody.
I'm not all about poop.
And with that, we're off.
I wash my
see you
hands
later.
of it.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
goodbye.